I was saying, for setting up the debate, let me go across to my panelists who are joining me from the United States. Raymond Vickery, what do you make of this rather surprising turn of events? Because Melania Trump, arguably just a month before election in the United States, has taken quite a strong stand and an openly strong stand in favor of the right to abortion.
Well, thanks very much for having me. You're absolutely right that this is a very crucial election issue. All the polls are showing that Donald Trump has a great deficit when it comes to women, as much as 38 to 40%. He is desperate now to try to find a way in which to counteract the image which he carefully built for himself with the Christian right to get elected in 2016, and that is that he would overturn Roe versus Wade, and he is now trying to find a way forward. I don't believe that this could have come out, and now Melania Trump has doubled down by posting on social media an affirmation of what is in it. I don't think this would have happened without Donald Trump's consent, really. I think that this is part of the attempt to try to soften the image somehow. I don't think it's going to work because Donald Trump has been all over the place on this. In 1999, he was for the right of abortion. And of course, since he started running for president, completely changed his position, and now he's caught in this contradiction.
That is a very, very interesting stance, Raymond, and let me put that across with Vibhuti Jha as well. Vibhuti, comment on this. Has this not further exacerbated a rather confused stance by the former president? Donald Trump has been taking credit for Roe versus Wade being overturned since 2022. But since then, he has been vacillating on what exactly will be his next move. Sometimes he supported a legislation which effectively has been defeated by his own running mate in the states. And now a theory coming in, or at least a suggestion coming in from Raymond, that this is perhaps as part of a strategy to covertly show to people that he perhaps is amenable to a softer stance, and which is why Melania is essentially a trump for a new change in his tactics, a new change in his strategy.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I do not subscribe to the issue of abortion the way it is played upon as a political element. But look at it from the woman's point of view, which is what Melania is talking about. She going soft on this issue or taking an opposite stand to Trump's on this issue, nothing shocking about it, because husband and wife don't have to agree on everything. Brothers and sisters differ on issues. So there's nothing wrong about she taking a stand of that kind. Now, whether it is motivated as a political play driven by Trump, I do not know that. I wouldn't know this at this point in time. But here is the issue. It is indeed a woman's right. Woman's body is her own choice, what she does with her body. There is no dispute about that. The dispute is about a bigger issue, in my opinion, that, we are living in 21st century. Every man and woman, every boy and girl has to be responsible and accountable for their action. We talk about responsibility and accountability. We forget this element in an interpersonal relationship between a man and a woman. It doesn't require a magic or a wisdom to know how pregnancy happens, wanted pregnancy or unwanted pregnancy. So when you indulge in a practice, in a behavior, not practice, in a behavior in which you expose yourself to an unwanted pregnancy, then do you need to have a responsibility for the consequences of your action? That's the important issue here. In 21st century, every boy and girl, every man and woman knows that sex is a basic need of an individual. You need to have, otherwise leads to moral, ethical, mental stress and all kinds of stuff. So the point here is cases of incest, rape, violence, if pregnancy happens on that account, definitely, who would want, if my daughter were alive today, and if she were a victim, of a rape
Okay.
or an incest, I would not want that DNA to be born again. She will have the choice to do what she wants to do with her body. Absolutely. What is my concern here is that when you indulge in an unprotected sex, knowing full well that there can be an unwanted pregnancy, you must not destroy a life. Okay, on the 13th month or 20th month, I'm going to abort the child because
Mr.
I
Jha,
just fancy that it's
Mr.
too
Jha,
difficult
I'm sorry
to
to
carry
come in
the
at this
child.
point.
This is what is important
Mr.
here.
Jha, there are so many
Just last
ethical
point.
counter.
Just
Okay,
one
please
point.
go on.
This is a unique
Yeah.
country, America. You see the sights. It's a beautiful sight. When ducks and geese are crossing the street, the traffic stops on both sides to let the life continue. Nobody runs over the ducks and geese because that life is useless. This is a country that loves life. I know of military people who have told me the greatest satisfaction that I have in this country is that if I'm able to reach my message to my army that I'm behind enemy lines, the country will do whatever it takes to rescue me. This is the story of the pilot who was shot behind enemy lines in the
Okay.
famous movie.
Okay,
That's
okay. I'll come in
important
here, Vibhuti, because I
Can
think
life
we're
be
slightly
taken for
deviating from the
granted?
issue.
That's the
Again, I have a choice right now. I have a choice right now to bring in Ava Singh to counter you on the moral aspects of it, but I'm going to keep it at this point in terms of a political one. You mentioned, of course, that the idea is to ensure that young couples, men and women, boys and girls, are more responsible about the consequences of the actions here. By that logic, the Republican leading states should be more in the favor of contraceptives and birth control as well. But that's also where we see your party and the states which take that, which are run the red states, taking conservative stand as well. Data shows there is a study with the Quinnipiac University which finds that 55% of voters think that Vice President Kamala Harris is better equipped to tackle this issue compared to 38%. I'm not getting into the merits of whether the right to abortion is something that's justified or not, but the fact still remains this is a very divisive issue. And the numbers indicate that Donald Trump's confusing stance over this has hurt his campaign. Is this a much needed attempt at damage control, or is it perhaps the final straw that will sink the Trump ship when it comes to taking a concerted, clear stand on the right to abortion?
Is it to me?
Yes,
Is that
that question
to me?
was to you. With apologies for the long question, but that was to you.
Okay, that's perfectly understandable. It is a very, difficult topic to deal with for Republican Party. It has been their, bete noire, if I may say so, the albatross. They have never been clear in defining the challenge. The issue is about protection of life. Yes, you are right. The Republican Party is on the back foot in this issue, and I totally subscribe to your thought that it has to be handled well. The issue is also the politics of it comes in when it is made as an issue of the woman's right to her own body. That is not an issue. It is woman's right. Absolutely. I'm talking about another element to that, is that there is a consequence to everything that we do. And to what extent can a woman protect herself from an unwanted pregnancy? I repeat this matter. You cannot get up one fine morning in the 26th week and say, I want to abort. Yeah, extraordinary circumstances require extraordinary measures. No doubt about that.
Okay.
But can that be made as if I've got up from the wrong side of the bed, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to abort the child? Is that the issue here? Is that the right we want? Is that the right which sane people